Have you ever felt there's something more to this world than what meets the eye? A deeper layer of reality holding answers to life's biggest questions? What if I told you there exists a place, not made of walls or books, but of pure energy where every thought, action, and emotion you've ever experienced is recorded? This place is known as the Akashic Records, often called the Library of the Soul, or the universe's hard drive. These records have captivated mystics, sages, and seekers for centuries. Today we'll explore their complete story, what they truly are, where this ancient knowledge originates, how spiritual practitioners have accessed them throughout history, and most importantly, how you can connect with this source of divine wisdom yourself. Whether you're curious or already walking a spiritual path, this journey may forever change how you see your life. So take a deep breath, open your mind, and prepare to step into a realm beyond time and space. Mystics, what are the Akashic Records? The Akashic Records represent one of spirituality's most mysterious and powerful concepts. They're described as a vast energetic library, containing the complete history of every soul that has ever existed, every experience, thought, intention, word, and action, all recorded and stored in a higher dimension of consciousness. This isn't a physical place. It doesn't exist in space like a building or book. Instead, it exists in the realm of spirit, within the subtle etheric layers that surround and permeate all creation. The word Akasha comes from ancient Sanskrit, meaning ether, sky, or space. It refers to the fifth element beyond earth, fire, water, and air, the invisible essence connecting everything, believed to be the substance from which all life flows. In many spiritual traditions, Akasha is considered the original vibration, the breath of God, the field of divine intelligence, Wasakar, the universe's memory. Think of the Akashic Records as the universe's memory. Imagine every soul has its own book, containing every detail of its journey through time, not just this lifetime, but many lifetimes, past, present, and future potentials. The records don't only hold personal information, they also store humanity's collective wisdom, consciousness evolution, the rise and fall of civilizations, and cosmic secrets. This concept has existed for thousands of years. While the term Akashic Records is relatively modern, many ancient cultures spoke of something similar. Eastern yogis and mystics referred to a cosmic memory where all things were known. In the West, the Book of Life appears in religious texts, where deeds and destinies are written and preserved, mirror beyond time and space. The Akashic Records aren't limited by time or space. They operate outside linear reality. When someone accesses the records, they can perceive events that have happened, are happening, or may yet come to pass. However, these records aren't fixed in stone. They're living documents that change as your soul grows and evolves, reflecting your intentions, free will, and the lessons you're here to learn. Accessing the records isn't just about seeing the past or predicting the future. It's about understanding the deeper truth of who you are. It's reconnecting with your soul's purpose and uncovering the patterns shaping your reality. Many describe it as a profound experience of remembering, as if you already knew the answers but had forgotten them. Some spiritual teachers compare the Akashic Records to a spiritual internet where you can search for information beyond mental limitations. Others describe it as a sacred space, responding only to sincere questions, a realm of unconditional love where judgment doesn't exist, only understanding. Whether you think of them as a divine database, soul archive, or universal memory field, the Akashic Records are a source of incredible wisdom. They're not bound by religion or dogma, but are available to anyone who seeks them with humility, clarity, and an open heart. Historical origins and evolution. To truly understand the Akashic Records, we must explore how this concept has evolved across different cultures and spiritual traditions. The idea of cosmic memory or universal records isn't new. It has existed for millennia, long before the modern term was ever spoken. By ancient foundations, India, ancient sages and mystics, practicing deep meditation, spoke of a subtle substance holding all knowledge. They called it Akasha, the fifth element and source of all creation. The Vedas, among humanity's oldest spiritual texts, hint at a vast invisible field where everything is interconnected, where sound, thought, and energy leave lasting impressions. Egypt, priests and initiates of the mystery schools, were said to access the Hall of Records, a sacred dimension containing humanity's divine blueprint. They believed every soul had its own scroll or tablet containing its existence story, guarded by higher beings and accessible only to the spiritually pure. The Mayans believed in a cosmic library, seeing time as cyclical with past, present, and future woven together like threads in a divine tapestry. Their understanding of time and consciousness suggests contact with some form of universal memory far beyond human logic. Judeo-Christian tradition. The concept of the Book of Life appears throughout the Bible, a heavenly record where every soul's actions, thoughts, and choices are written, though the language differs. The core idea remains, a divine record reflecting our lives' truth. Your modern development. The modern concept of Akashic Records began taking shape in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, during the rise of spiritual movements, like Theosophy, which brought Eastern wisdom to the Western world. Helena Blavatsky. This Russian philosopher and mystic wrote about Akasha as a universal memory field, believing advanced beings called Masters of Wisdom could read these records to guide humanity toward enlightenment. Rudolf Steiner, the founder of anthroposophy, claimed he could access the Akashic Records through deep spiritual insight. He spoke of past lives, karma, and soul evolution based on what he perceived in the records, believing spiritual science could harmonize this knowledge with human reason. Edgar Cayce, perhaps the most famous figure associated with the Akashic Records, often called the Sleeping Prophet. Cayce would enter trance-like states and answer questions about people's past lives, health, and soul journeys by tapping into the records. His readings became widely known and brought the concept into public consciousness. Contemporary access today, the Akashic Records, are no longer seen as mysterious knowledge, reserved for mystics or prophets. They've become a practical spiritual tool for anyone seeking deeper understanding. Modern teachers and energy healers have developed methods to access the records through prayer, meditation, and intuition. Books, courses, and online communities help people explore their soul's history in previously unimaginable ways. This evolution from ancient temples and scrolls to modern spiritual practices and digital platforms shows that while methods change, the essence remains constant, a sacred space of truth, wisdom, and divine memory that continues calling seekers across the ages. How the Akashic Records work. Understanding how the Akashic Records function requires recognizing they're not physical objects, not literal books or scrolls. Instead, they're energetic imprints stored in a higher vibrational dimension, a consciousness level beyond ordinary awareness. The energetic field. Imagine the Akashic Records as a vast information field, like a memory cloud surrounding all things. Just as a radio picks up ever-present airwaves, we can tune into this field under the right conditions. This energetic field responds not to logic or force, but to intention, vibration, and inner alignment. The records operate through your soul's frequency. When you raise your awareness and quiet your mind, you begin resonating with that higher frequency. That's when connection begins. Receiving information. Accessing the records isn't like reading a textbook, it's more like receiving a wisdom download. People experience this differently. Some see images or visions. Others hear words or phrases. Some feel emotions or have deep inner knowing. Information may come through symbols, metaphors, or sensations requiring interpretation. The message always comes through the receiver's filter, which is why two people asking the same question may receive different answers. The records speak directly to your soul's path and understanding level, giving you what you're ready to receive, not necessarily what you want to hear, always with the purpose of healing, growth, and alignment with your true self. Reserve methods of connection, sacred prayer or invocation. Many use a sequence of words that opens the energetic channel, allowing access to the record keepers, beings of light or spiritual guides, who guard and maintain the records. Their role isn't to judge but to assist, helping you see life's patterns and lessons from a higher perspective. Meditation. By entering deep stillness and inner focus, you can tune into the subtle consciousness layers where records are stored. Additional tools. Some use crystals, sound healing, or breathwork to raise their vibration and deepen connection. Others work with trained Akashic record readers skilled in navigating the field. Recurrent or living documents. One crucial understanding. The Akashic records are always changing. They're not fixed like stone, they're alive, evolving with your choices, thoughts, and actions. Just as your future isn't predetermined, the records reflect many possibilities and paths based on your current energy and intentions. When you ask a question in the records, the answer is often more than information. It's an energy transmission, a moment of recognition, a healing itself. Many report that simply entering the records brings peace, clarity, or emotional release, because the truth found there is what your soul already knows but may have forgotten. The Akashic Records don't exist to predict the future or control your fate. They exist to empower you, to help you understand your experience's deeper meaning, provide tools for more conscious and loving decisions, and remind you that you're not alone on your journey. Your life has purpose, and every step is part of a much larger story. How spiritualists use the Akashic Records. Throughout history, spiritualists and mystics have turned to the Akashic Records not from curiosity, but as a sacred gateway to truth, healing, and transformation. To them, the records aren't just a knowledge source, but a living presence, divine intelligence, holding the soul's entire journey across time and space. Our soul healing. Spiritualists believe the Akashic Records contain every soul's blueprint, every thought, word, emotion, and action from past lives, present experiences, and future possibilities. By accessing these records, they can uncover the root causes of emotional wounds, karmic patterns, and recurring life challenges. One powerful application is healing soul trauma. Many believe trauma doesn't begin in this lifetime, alone, but can stretch across incarnations. A persistent fear, painful relationship pattern, or personal growth block may have roots in past soul experiences. By entering the records and seeking guidance, practitioners can receive insights into what happened, why it occurred, and how it can be healed today. For decision-making guidance. Some use the records for decision-making guidance not by predicting the future, but by examining different choices' energetic consequences. The records reveal patterns behind what's visible, showing where current thoughts and behaviors lead, and what might change with shifted mindset or different paths. This allows conscious choices from a place of alignment with one's highest self. Here's to rediscovering soul gifts. Others use records to reconnect with soul gifts and forgotten talents. Many spiritualists believe souls carry wisdom across lifetimes, and accessing the records can rediscover previously mastered strengths. For example, a past life healer might find their gift reawakening, or a former teacher might remember their voice and confidence through record insights. Your divine communication. Akashic Records also serve as a space for deep communication with guides, ancestors, or higher beings. Many entering the records describe meeting loving presences supporting and assisting their path. These beings don't judge but offer clarity, wisdom, and unconditional support. Conversations in this space often feel more real than anything in the outside world. Soul mirror. Spiritualists working regularly with records often describe them as a soul mirror, reflecting who you truly are beneath daily life's noise and confusion. It becomes a place where masks fall away and only truth remains, gentle yet powerful, revealing yet healing. Serving others in group settings. Spiritualists sometimes use records to support others' healing journeys. By opening records for clients or loved ones with permission, they may receive messages helping that person move through grief, loss, confusion, or stagnation. The Akashic Records become not only a personal tool but also sacred service to others. Creative inspiration. Even creative people use records as inspiration wellsprings. Artists, musicians, writers, and visionaries speak of entering the field and being flooded with images, ideas, or feelings guiding their work. They say records connect them to a deeper source of beauty and meaning transcending mental limits. Whether used for personal growth, spiritual evolution, or creative awakening, the Akashic Records serve as a bridge between human and divine. They remind spiritualists they're not separate from the universe, but part of greater intelligence that's always guiding, always loving, and always available to those willing to enter with open hearts. How to access the Akashic Records. Accessing the Akashic Records isn't about following strict rituals or belonging to special groups. It's a deeply personal, spiritual process anyone can begin with sincere intention, a quiet mind, and an open heart. The records are always present, always accessible, but require a certain inner state to be perceived and understood. Creating sacred space. The first step is creating sacred space within and around you. This can be as simple as finding a quiet room, lighting a candle, taking deep breaths to center yourself, What matters most is your energy and focus. Come with respect, humility, and true desire to grow, not to control or demand answers, but to receive wisdom. Opening the records. Many use a sacred prayer or invocation to open the records. One well-known example is the Pathway prayer introduced by Linda Howe. This prayer serves as a key, attuning your mind and spirit to the Akashic field's frequency, allowing the door to gently open. The words aren't magical, but the intention behind them is powerful. They signal readiness to step into a higher dimension of truth. Rigor asking questions. Once you open the records, ask clear, heartfelt questions. The Akashic Records respond best to questions from curiosity, growth, and self-awareness. Instead of asking, when will something happen, try, what do I need to understand about this situation? What lesson is my soul trying to learn through this challenge? Your question's quality shapes your answer's depth. There's receiving information. Information may come in many forms. Images in your mind's eye, heard phrases, felt emotions, simple inner knowing that wasn't there before, symbols requiring interpretation, calm, loving presence speaking through intuition and feeling. Whatever form it takes, trust the process. Let go of judgment or the need to understand everything immediately. Recording your experience, keep a journal nearby. After closing the records, write down everything you experienced, even the smallest details. Sometimes insights don't fully reveal their meaning, right? Away but unfold over time like seeds planted in the heart. Your writing becomes a record of your journey and a way to track growth and evolution. They're working with practitioners. Some find it helpful to work with trained Akashic Records practitioners, especially initially. A guide can help build trust in the process and offer perspective on what you're receiving. But remember, you have the ability to connect on your own. The records aren't exclusive. They're a birthright, a universal gift. Thus, developing the practice. As you continue your practice, you may notice the records beginning to speak more clearly, not only during sessions, but in everyday life. Signs, synchronicities, dreams, and sudden insights may all carry the record's energy. The more you align with your soul's truth, the more naturally the connection grows. Key principles. Patience. This isn't a race or skill to master overnight. It's a relationship, sacred dialogue between you and divine, intelligence that knows you completely. The more you show up with honesty and presence, the more the records open to you. Purpose. Remember that Akashic Records aren't here to give you all the answers. They're here to help you remember who you truly are, guide you back to your own wisdom and light, and remind you that you're a soul on a journey and never truly alone. In our personal experiences and testimonials, over the years, countless individuals from all walks of life have shared powerful, personal experiences with the Akashic Records. These stories come from ordinary people, not just mystics or spiritual teachers, but professionals, artists, parents, and seekers who felt a deep inner call to connect with something beyond the visible world. Prayers healing ancient wounds. One woman described how her first Akashic Records experience brought her to tears. She'd struggled with unexplainable feelings of unworthiness that no amount of therapy or self-help could shift. When she accessed the records, she saw a vision of a past life where she'd been silenced and punished for speaking her truth. In that moment, something clicked. It felt like my soul finally exhaled, she said. She was no longer carrying nameless pain. She could finally begin healing. Sakam, awakening hidden gifts. A man who'd always felt drawn to healing work but never trusted. His intuition entered the Akashic Records during a group session. He received vivid images of himself as an ancient healer, using his hands and heart to guide others. It wasn't fantasy, he said. It felt like memory. Something inside had awakened. After that experience, he began studying energy, healing, and now helps others find their path as a practitioner. Yuri, breaking creative blocks. A young artist struggled for years with creative block. Every time she tried to paint, she felt disconnected and anxious. After opening the Akashic Records with a guide's help, she received a vision of her soul surrounded by color, movement, and symbols. It felt like a sacred dance, she said, like my soul was showing me what creativity really meant. Her art changed completely afterward. She stopped trying to be perfect and started expressing from the heart. Her paintings now hang in galleries, and she credits the records for unlocking the door. or finding self-acceptance. Many describe overwhelming love and acceptance when entering the Akashic field. One man had lived with deep shame over past mistakes. When he accessed the records, he didn't feel judged, he felt seen and understood. He heard the message, "You are not broken. You are growing." That single moment changed how he saw himself, giving him courage to forgive and move forward. Making life decisions. Countless people use the Akashic Records for life decisions, not through prediction, but through clarity. One woman, unsure whether to leave an unfulfilling career, saw a symbol in the records, a closed door with light pouring from the other side. She took this as a sign to trust the unknown and step forward. Today she runs a wellness business that feels more like a calling than a job. Converting skeptics. Even skeptics have had surprising experiences. One man who didn't believe in anything spiritual tried a session out of curiosity. Expecting nothing, he was shocked when he received specific messages about a childhood memory he'd never shared with anyone. Those messages helped him understand relationship patterns, and for the first time in his life, he felt truly guided. Common threads. These stories remind us that Akashic Records aren't just concepts. They're lived experiences. They're not reserved for the gifted or chosen, but available to every soul willing to listen, explore, and grow. Each journey is unique, but the common thread is this. Every person entering the records feels something awaken, shift, or return to life. It's not always dramatic. Sometimes it's subtle, a soft whisper, sudden insight, or warm presence bringing peace. But every experience holds potential to bring us closer to truth, healing, and the deeper parts of ourselves we often forget. That is conclusion. The Akashic Records are more than a mystical concept. They're a living library of the soul, a timeless wisdom source that patiently waits for us to remember who we are. They remind us that life isn't just random events, but a journey woven with purpose, meaning, and deep spiritual design. When we choose to access the records, we're not escaping reality, we're entering a deeper one. We're aligning with truth that has always been within us, waiting to be rediscovered. The records don't tell us what to do. They help us understand why we're here, what we're learning, and how we can evolve with greater love and awareness. An open invitation. You don't have to be perfect to enter the Akashic field. You only need to be honest, willing, and open. Your soul already knows the way. Your heart already carries the key. This journey is about remembering that you're connected to something greater, that you're never alone, and that within you lives the wisdom of lifetimes. Whether you're just beginning to explore or have walked this path for years, know that the Akashic Records are always available to you. They're not a destination, but a mirror, sanctuary, and guide. They invite you to live with more clarity, more courage, and deep knowing that you are exactly where you need to be. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening, and thank you for walking this journey of awakening. The records await your sincere heart and open mind, ready to remind you of the magnificent soul you've always been.